Hey, what's up everybody? This is Osterberg501 and the Streets of Tarkov wipe is finally here, or at least it'll be here in a few hours from when I'm recording this video. And we do have some patch notes, but also keep in mind BSG never releases all of the patch notes. So this is just some of the main stuff, but there's probably going to be a ton of other stuff not in these patch notes. So the first big thing is obviously Streets of Tarkov. There's a pretty big lore piece on their website on the patch notes if you want to read this, but it's Streets of Tarkov Part 1. It's not the entire Streets of Tarkov map, but we're finally getting this map. Seems to be a pretty big map as well. So that's one of the most exciting things about this wipe. We get some new changes that I was not expecting that seem pretty weird. So we have repair kits and enhancements. So weapons, body armor, and plate carriers can now receive a standard or rare improvement when repaired via repair kits. So these are only via the weapon and armor repair kits that you can get out of raids. I don't even think you can actually buy these from any vendors. You can sell them on the flea market. The ability to enhance items opens at level 10 of the corresponding skill. So you need 10 on that skill. For weapons, it is weapon maintenance. For armor, it is light armor or heavy armor. So that's another thing we're to go over in this. Light and heavy armor are different skills, or are new skills. Rare enhancement can only be applied at the elite level of the corresponding skill. So if you want the rare enhancement, you need that skill to be maxed out and have the elite skill for it. And the chance and strength of a normal standard enhancement depends on the level of the corresponding skill. So once you get level 10, you can start getting that normal enhancement, but say you're level 20, it could be a stronger version. So it's not just normal enhancement at level 10 and nothing changes until max level. It actually keeps increasing the power. For body armor and plate carriers, the enhancement reduces the damage a character receives. This is pretty crazy. So for any of the armored things, so armored rigs or body armor, the enhancement literally just reduces damage your character receives. I'm assuming it's only from that armor piece and not just your entire body. And weapons can have two kinds of enhancements at the same time. So you could have two enhancements. The first is to decrease in malfunction chance, which is very nice. And the second is an accuracy increase, which is kind of ridiculous. And I guess depending on how they actually scale this, depending on how much stats this actually increases, it could generally be almost nothing, or it could be completely ridiculous and you could make a lot of guns much better, especially guns that aren't as accurate, but would be very good if they were more accurate. The enhancement is effective within a certain range of the item's technical condition or armor points and will be removed in case of another repair. So if you say get 2 enhancements on a weapon, you go use it a bunch and then you repair it again, those enhancements are removed, but obviously you could apply new enhancements while repairing. The enhancement and its value affect the value of the item, the selling price, the cost of insurance, and the flea market fee. So I'm wondering if there's going to be a point to where enhancing weapons and armor before selling them to a vendor is actually going to be important. But I'm assuming there's also going to be a descriptor on it to what it has enhanced because it's going to increase the flea market fee as well. So people may want to buy already enhanced items. So that also means that somebody with max level on those different skills and putting say like 2 rare enhancements on a weapon is going to make that weapon incredibly expensive on the flea market. The intelligence skill now affects the amount of repair points that will be spent on repairs. So that's off of your repair kit. And now the value of the removed max durability of an item when repairing via repair kits depends on the corresponding skill. For weapons, it's weapon maintenance. For armor, it's light and heavy armor. And for other items with durability, the points are for intelligence. So how much durability you lose while repairing an item will now depend on the corresponding skill for those different skills we went over. And I was not expecting that. I don't know how I feel about this because this is also just going to allow people that grind the game a lot more to even be stronger. I guess it really depends on how they balance this and how strong these different enhancements actually are. Like if rare enhancements are just ridiculous, then casual players are going to kind of get screwed on this a little bit. You will be able to at least buy some stuff with enhancements on it from the flea market, but that stuff's probably going to be really expensive. So for skill changes, we have added the new light and heavy armor skills. For light armor, the skill progression reduces the penalty to mobility, wear of armor when repairing, and the damage from melee weapons when struck in that armor. Then for heavy armor, the skill progression reduces the penalty to mobility, blunt damage to parts covered by the armor, and the wear of the armor when repairing. And also off this, I'm not sure what these two are actually depending on. So I'm not sure if different armors are just going to be classified as light or heavy armor now. It actually doesn't explain that anywhere. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen or if just leveling up these two things is done in different ways, but both their effects apply to all armor. So I'm not actually sure on that. Then they reworked the charisma skill. The skill's progression affects the price of insurance, paid extracts, replacement of operational tasks, price of the scab box, and therapist's healing service. So charisma is actually pretty important. It does a lot of pretty useful things. But now we get into some of the new additions. So added the G25 40mm underbarrel grenade launcher for all AK family automatic rifles with a compatible barrel mount. So underbarrel grenade launcher for tons of AKs. Then added the M203 40mm underbarrel grenade launcher for all AR-15 style rifles with appropriate barrel length and compatible handguards, and then grenade launchers for tons of the AR-15s. Then we get the SR2M 9x21 SMG with a SR2MP upgrade kit, standard issue sight, and 20 or 30 round magazines. Now this is the SMG that's shooting the same rounds that the Shrimp uses. Think this SMG might be really good, at least for like early and mid wipe. I'm very excited to actually try this out. Then we get the AUG A1, a new 5.56 rifle with modifications and magazines for 10, 30, and 42 rounders. So you can get some pretty big round magazines with this, but I think this is probably gonna suck. Going off of how they've added other weapons, this thing probably won't be good unless they've done some pretty big overhaul to 5.56 rounds in general, because last wipe and actually the last couple wipes, 5.56 have been lagging behind quite a bit. Then they added the Glock 19X 9x19 with 19, 24, and 30 round magazines, so a new Glock. Then they added the RSH-12, which is a 12.7x55 assault revolver. Not actually sure about this weapon, but it seems like it could be pretty fun. Then added new equipment. So again, they're not going to show everything, but there's probably going to be tons of just new armors, new bags, all types of new stuff. Now I'm going to lump all this together, but there is a co-op PvE expansion. So if you don't know, you could play with a bunch of other people in the offline mode as of last wipe. And now they're adding a bunch of things you can do to modify it. You can change the weather, you can change spawn points, you can configure bots, you can choose to have no energy and water drain. So just a bunch of different modifiers, probably made to just be able to set up some like custom matches in the offline mode. Then for hideout, they added 2 new upgrade levels for the shooting range. The levels allow you to set up a variety of shooting targets, including move-in targets, and the use of a training program to improve your shooting accuracy. So now with your hideout, you can change the shooting range, which is nice. A lot of people have been asking for this, but you can also increase it to increase your shooting accuracy. So I'm assuming this is just going to increase how quick you level up your different accuracy from using different guns and different categories of guns. They added 5 new stimulants: the Abdobalos 2, the SJ12, Porphytorin or Blue Blood, Trimadol, and PNB or Product 16. There's a description of all these. I'm not going to go over these descriptions. You can go read these if you want, but they're just a bunch of new stims that do different things. We don't have any specific numbers for them, so going over these small descriptors probably isn't going to give a lot of information anyway. They added new voice lines for Killa, Tagilla, Knight, Bird Eye, and Big Pipe. And then we have some more general changes here. Rebalance weapon mastering progression, rebalance trading and prices, added new barter items, rebalance conditions and rewards in the old quests, as well as added new ones. Some quests and chains now become available after a period of time after the completion of a previous one. So this sounds like you complete a quest and you're gonna have to wait a time before the new one is unlocked. I'm hoping this is for higher tier quests and not early quests. Various improvements and changes in the hideout. The spawn points of some quest items have been changed. The item will now be in one of the random locations located near each other. So it sounds like specific stuff, say maybe the pocket watch, will now not be guaranteed in that one side of the truck. Now it may be in one random location in that general area still. So you don't have to like go to some other map or some other area of the map. It sounds like they're all going to be in the same area, just kind of randomized in that area. Some recipes for crafting in the hideout will become available as a reward from completing certain quests. So not crafting from certain quests. A new type of extraction is available on streets. To activate, you need to fire a green flare in the air before exiting. Otherwise, you will be shot by snipers when approaching that exit. So flare extracts. Added the ability to add craft items to your favorites, as well as search by name in the craft list. This is pretty massive actually if you're someone that crafts a lot, because how many crafts there are now, you're just scrolling through a list, they randomly change. Being able to favorite and search is pretty massive. Added weapon malfunctions for bots. This is also pretty big. Now, scavs aren't just going to be able to spray any gun with one durability at you and never malfunction. This is pretty good. Adding more of the systems to bots and scav AI that were on players is always going to be a good thing. And improve the behavior of rogue bosses. Now, I'm assuming this is the 3 bosses, Night, Bird Eye, and Big Pipe, and I'm not sure what this means. Hopefully this doesn't mean that they just never come in doorways and you basically can't fight them, because that was generally the way you had to fight them, or they would just insta-kill you from across the map. Reworked the sound mechanics. Steam audio has been completely removed and replaced with Oculus audio. The sound positioning system change will be noticeable regardless of the sound setting. In the current implementation, the sound positioning system handles a much larger number of conditions from the final sound in relation to the player's position. The final adjustment of the positioning is available on Factory, Customs, Woods, and Streets. Other locations will have the quality of sound positioning gradually improving in the upcoming updates. So essentially, the sound is supposed to be much better. It's supposed to handle a much larger amount of conditions to basically give you the sound location of a player's current position. I think what they're trying to say here is the sound is supposed to be much more accurate and have a lot more conditions to giving that accurate sound. But the final adjustment version of this is only on Factory, Customs, Woods, and Streets. So the other maps are going to have less accurate audio until they get updated in upcoming updates. Most likely those will be in this wipe, hopefully. But I'm very much hoping that this system is much more accurate on giving sound. Obviously, this has been one of the biggest pitfalls of PvP in Tarkov. And then at the end, there's a big list of different fixes for the game. I'm not going to go over these. These are all just generally small fixes, bugs, graphical issues, all that type of stuff being fixed. You can go read this if you want, but also keep in mind, this is not the full patch notes or full implementation. BSG basically never gives all of the actual new stuff or changes or additions in these patch notes. These are more kind of used as an explanation of some of the bigger changes and then basically a tease for the wipe itself. But there's going to be more stuff. There's probably going to be a lot more items we don't know about. There's probably going to be a lot more changes that we don't know about. And they usually want you just to find that stuff in game yourself. But that's pretty much all I want to go over for the patch notes for the new wipe of Escape from Tarkov. I'm very excited. This is one of the most content-packed patches that we have had in a long time. So subscribe if you want to see more Escape from Tarkov or other FPS videos. Leave a like if you liked the video. Leave a comment down below what you guys think about all these changes and additions for the new wipe. And thanks for watching.